Let's have a great day. Let's have a great day. Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. Together on three. One, two, three.
Together. Gotta run, gotta run, gotta run, gotta run.
DK, I'm going to you first. Take off, and do. Take off. Here we go, Rue.
Good talk, Gabe. Good talk, Gabe. Talk, talk, talk. Away, 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 away. Good pass. Okay, let's go, let's go. Back, 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 back.
One week started, 1 week started. Stay solid. I'm good.
Somebody's got to stop the ball. Let's go. Talk that out.
I'm back. I got 1 quarter. I'm low. Jax, you low, Jax.
2 paint touches. 2 paint touches. Nice, DA. Nice, DA. Let's go, 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 go. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Nice, 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 Rue.
Together on three. 1, 2, 3.
Together.
Good work, fellas.
Good work.
All right, we've got a developing story here on NBA Today. Our Lakers reporter Dave McMenamin reported that Luka Doncic plans to play Tuesday in Phoenix against the Suns, a source told ESPN. It'll be Doncic's preseason debut. Lakers coach J.J. Redick said Doncic will play in 2 out of the Lakers' final 3 preseason games. So, Brian, Luka's playing tomorrow, but no reports on Wednesday's game against his former team. What do you expect from him this preseason?
Well, I don't know, but I would find it doubtful that he's going to play in the back-to-back, even though the Wednesday game against Dallas, which is on ESPN.
Yeah. Would be nice. Would be nice.
They play finished Friday across the street against the Kings, so I think there's a decent chance the plan for Luka would be tomorrow and then Friday. Look, they need some offense. They need the offense to get going without LeBron. And so, you know, the Lakers have the longest preseason of any team in the league. They play 6 games, so it's not that big of a deal that Luka doesn't play till now. But one of the things that we heard JJ say very clearly was he wanted championship shape. So Luka came back in good condition. Let's see the speed at which he plays with. Austin Reeves, I will say this, has had 2 excellent preseason games. He's played in 2. He scored 20 in both of them. He's looked very, very good. The Luka Austin Reeves backcourt, even without LeBron James, could be very powerful to start the season.
I'm very intrigued and interested to see how DeAndre Ayton does this season. You know, in 2018, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but nobody batted an eye when Ayton got picked over Luka.
I about nobody. I'll push back on that.
No, it sounds good now.
No,
but nobody that day really. Maybe a few.
It wasn't a controversial pick.
No. And so, you know, people are fascinated about who the next great center is, and he's shown flashes, but over the last 2 seasons, maybe in the last 3 seasons, he's digressed. Not scored, people questioned his effort, and wondered if he could ever be the guy that you expected him to be. Now, the spotlight that he's in is the same spotlight he was in when the Suns were in the finals. There's going to be somebody watching him every day. Putting on a Laker uniform is different. He's playing with LeBron. He's playing with Luka. I think that there's going to be tremendous pressure on Ayton to live up to what he could potentially do. And if he could, Ayton to live up what he could potentially do. And if he is that player, if he could rebound, if he could average 20, if he could do well in pick and rolls, he is the X factor that could potentially help the Lakers have a
lot of ifs, I would imagine. I would agree. Now,
here's possible.
Maybe.
It is possible.
We'll see.
I believe in him.
I'm glad somebody does. And JJ, I'm sure will, as we get into the season. Bobby, one thing that stuck out to me from that video we saw there was JJ telling the guys to communicate. Talk, talk, talk. You heard him say that. And that's on defense. We've had a lot of talk about offense here on this panel. What about the defense?
Well, their defense is going to keep them above water until LeBron gets back. That's the big thing that I'm going to pay attention to. We saw glimpses after the Luka trade of this team being a really good defensive team, certainly middle of the pack overall there. I'm concerned, where are they going to get the offense from? And that's why I say defense, defense, defense for this Lakers team to be above 500 when LeBron gets back, you know, sometime in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
So, without, let's say LeBron, you know, he's not going to play to start the season. We don't know how long he'll be out. You know, this West is hard. It's not forgiving, Brian. So you cannot afford to come out slow out of the gates if you're anybody, let alone the Lakers.
The difference between the Lakers being the 3 seed and being in the play-in last year was 2 games. So keep that in mind when you have a bad 5 or 8 game stretch. The one thing I'll say about the Lakers, They're a lot healthier now than they were a year ago. I know that LeBron is not going to start the season healthy. Jared Vanderbilt is back and much bigger impact defensively. That he can bring.
Looked good in the preseason against the Warriors.
Yes,
the other night.
and Gabe Vincent, who was out a bunch early last season. Gabe Vincent's had a couple of really good games. And look, let's see Luka with this more slimmed down figure. Let's see how he defends. I have low expectations there. I think you ask him to dominate on the offensive end. You ask him to be passable on defense. But, you know, in theory, he should be more agile defensively.
Yeah, look, I think there's no question that that's something. And here's the other thing I think. If this is going to be Luka's team here moving forward, right? And it is kind of now, right? I also feel like he could work on his leadership too, right? Being more vocal. He's a lead by example guy. At some point, you got to take the reins.
Things off the court,
yeah,
like taking the guys.
Right, the Porsche thing. That's a good start.
Like,
yeah,
I hadn't heard any of that in Dallas.
Right.
So that's huge.
Yeah. So Giannis and Miles Turner out there. Here's Gary Trent with the drive. Giannis there for the putback. Bucks up 4.
I want to box him out.
You think? Here's Giannis again on the drive.
Wow.
Gets the and 1. Milwaukee up 6.
He really is focused on getting to the basket now. He doesn't really settle it ever.
Here's the spin move and this flush there for Giannis. 10.74 at the half.
He was just out of position. By the way, happy birthday to Modest Pizelis, 21 today.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that was not the present he wanted there on that drive. That's for sure.
Rising talent, though.
He is. Third quarter, Milwaukee now up 3. Kevin Porter Jr. finds Miles Turner. 3 ball.
Got to get used to that.
They need that to happen about 150 times this year.
Bucks up 4. Turner again for 3.
160.
19 points, 5 of 8 from 3. Bucks win 127 to 121. And speaking of the Bucks, we have a developing story. We welcome in our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, what can you tell us about what's going on in Milwaukee?
George, the youngest Antetokounmpo brother, Alex, is signing a 2-way NBA contract with the Bucks. And so remember, in late August, Thanasis signed a guaranteed 1-year minimum deal with the Bucks. Now, 1.5 months later here, Alex Antetokounmpo joins Giannis and Thanasis on the Milwaukee Bucks. And this is a deal I'm told has been in the works for weeks now. Alex has been a part of the Bucks system going back years. He's also been a part of the Raptors G League system. It is unusual, but this is unprecedented. It now gives 3 brothers on one team at the same time. That's the first time that's ever happened in NBA history.
All right, so I guess the question now is, what does that mean in terms of Giannis's future there?
George, the Bucks are clearly doing everything they can to make Giannis feel as comfortable as possible and as accommodated as possible. This is clearly a move that they're doing, leaving no stone unturned in that regard by signing Alex. But from Giannis's point of view, I'm told that these moves are isolated from him and his decisions, and my understanding is he will make his ultimate decision on his future, whatever that may be, as he has 1 year left on his contract after this season, and that will be based on the team's play. And to that end, the first quarter of this NBA season is going to be critical to see just how good or where the Bucks stand in the NBA and in the Eastern Conference this season.
All right, Shams, great stuff as always, man. Thanks for stopping by. There he is, Shams Charania. Now let's bring in our panel here, the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, Brian Windhorst, Hall of Famer Mark Spears with us here. Wendy, we'll start with you. What's your immediate reaction?
Look, when you've waived a guy like Damian Lillard and paid him $100 million not to be on your roster, and then immediately gone out and spend the $100 million on Miles Turner, signing the guy's brother to a 2-way contract is not, it's not relevant. I'm sure Giannis is thrilled. This is a great opportunity for him to play with his brothers. It's probably a moment they've thought about and dreamed about for a long time, but I don't think it's relevant. I don't think it's relevant to what Giannis is looking for. As Shams said, Shams keeps talking about that 25-game mark. The whole league is paying attention to it. And I will say, after Shams' report came out last week that said that the Knicks and the Bucks had talked about a Giannis trade in August, as you can imagine, I am told that some teams checked in with the Bucks, like, hey, wait a minute, are you willing to listen? And they were told no. So the Bucks are totally focused to have Giannis, as you would expect, but you also would expect the teams to check in after that became public.
There's a famous line in the movie 5 Heartbeats. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
No.
You got to see it. Where a guy said, every night I got to fight to prove my love. And I feel like every night the Bucks got to fight to prove their love to Giannis.
Yeah.
This is an extreme example. This is all respectful, but these true stats. Alex played sparingly for Payak in Greece last year. He played, I think he got a DNP and barely played for a team called Eris in Greece this year. He averaged 5 points in his G League career. So to have him leave his team in Greece, which he was barely even playing, this ain't the NBA. I don't even know what level that team is, and to come to the States and sign a two-way with the Bucks and cut Bouye in the process. The Bucks are doing everything in their power to prove their love. And when you're a small market team and you're getting a guy like that, and who knows when the next Giannis comes into the door, I don't blame him for.
Yeah, you got to do whatever you got to do. So, Bobby, obviously, Shams said that Giannis will be monitoring the situation. The first quarter of the season or whatnot will be a determining factor. How do you see the Bucks faring during that span?
Well, if we take the preseason game last night against Chicago as an example, they're going to be an interesting team to watch just based on what they did with their lineup. They put Kyle Kuzma coming off the bench, and they surrounded, this was Giannis' first preseason game. They had Giannis and Miles Turner, and then they surrounded him with all shooters, with A.J. Green and Gary Trent Jr. and Kevin Porter Jr. at the point guard here. It's going to be a team to monitor just because there's so many new faces here, but the proof are going to be with the results. And who this Bucks team is, this is the team that they're going to be with for the next 2 months. Remember, 11 out of the 15 players on this roster cannot be traded to at least December 15th. So they're going to have to figure it out internally what's going to be best moving forward.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to